Come on in, welcome to my home. Today we're going to do something simple, casual, and easy. Today I'm going to show you how I take care of my houseplants. Now this is not in any way, shape, nor form a tutorial. I'm just going to show you what I go through in just a regular Monday, because I always do my houseplants on Monday. How I water them, where I made some big mistakes. Because I don't know if you remember the video where I did up some terrariums. Mistakes. I made mistakes. One of my biggest mistakes was I overwatered the terrarium, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's let Voice Over Me show you what it is that I actually do with my plants, and we'll fix some of the terrariums. So let's start with the water. Now, I use just regular tap water. I know a lot of people are into distilled water or filtered water, and I used to be really into that, but I'm not so much anymore. Right now I'm watering my terrarium. But the big thing about this is when you use the filtered water or the distilled water, it's going to cost you some money. It's going to take time. You can leave your water to sit out for a couple days, like in a container, and that way it will help take some of the chemicals out of it, but I do not go through that hassle. Then I go through, and right now I probably shouldn't be watering another terrarium. Yes, there are lots of terrariums, but we'll talk about that later. But what I need to do is I need to go through and make sure that everything gets watered and everything gets a quarter of a turn. That's the big thing. Even the things which are in these shells units, they have to be turned so that way you get some even rotation. Now, of course, I cannot give a quarter of a turn to my big container, which has the lid on it, so I have to give a full half turn to that. But I do also rotate it because I think it's really important to get some even growing on these things. Now, this becomes an issue later on when we talk about the watering system that I have, or plants that absolutely cannot be turned. The pothos that I just watered first cannot be turned. The plants that are in the terrarium cannot be turned because that thing is big and heavy. Then we get into my other plants, which I absolutely love. Like I just watered my avocado, that's my ivy. Then we have parsley. A lot of these are going to get moved outside if it ever becomes warm, because as of right now, as we speak, we have a freeze warning today, which is in effect until I think Wednesday. And this is Tuesday. So yeah. Then what I always have is I have a pitcher of water, so that way the watering system that I have, which we will get into, we'll talk about it, is always ready to go, so I don't have to worry about, oh no, is the system going to just about start up? Do I have water in there? No, I make sure that it's in there. And like I said, I try to rotate everything a quarter of a turn, or everything that can be turned a quarter of a turn each week to get that nice even growing. A lot of this, and like I said, there are lots and lots of plants in this one room. This is in my office. There are lots of plants there. It's sort of hard to rotate and water all of them, but we get it done. We really do get it done. Then we're out into the living room. I'm just misting the terrarium there. It does not need much water. In fact, it probably didn't need to mist that, but I want it to make sure that it stays nice and hydrated, because we'll jump back in time when we talk about what we did to the terrarium. But now I'm watering the corn plant, trying to make sure that it gets all nice and evenly watered, and also I want to make sure that I remove any dead leaves, any leaves that look like they are in bad shape, that sort of thing. Those need to be taken care of. Then I also have my cuttings that I have around. This is just the cutting for the pothos, and it's been sprouted a lot of different places. Then we go over to the Christmas or cactus. It's just one of those cactuses. It's either an Easter, Christmas, or Thanksgiving. I'm not sure it 100% knows what it is, but it also gets rotated. Then we jump over to the stand. Once again, the snake plant, it gets rotated and filled up with those. And those are really cool. Those little things that you see, they are actually just terracotta. You fill them with water, and then the water leaches out into the ground or into the soil as needed. Like I said, I rotate everything. This is a plant I cannot rotate. This is a plant that's in my bedroom that, as you will see in a few seconds, it spreads. It's a climber, it's a spreader, it's a trailer, and so it's going across the bed right now. I love the look. Some of you probably absolutely hate this, but here's a funny one. My air plants. So I have a terrarium right in front of the air plants, and I watered the terrarium just a little bit. It's one of the only terrariums that I have that absolutely is not watertight. Like, the bottom of that is not watertight in the least. Not in the least at all, so that gets done. But then we rotate the other terrariums, and some of these I don't even have to open, haven't been opened in months and months. But then we get into the air plants. The air plants I used to be able to put into a mason jar or a ball jar to fill up, but I can't anymore because they're too big. So then I just put them in a bowl, fill the bowl with water. This I'm making sure is actually just nice lukewarm water. It's not hot, it's not cold, because I don't want anything too strange to happen to the plants. So then once it's filled up with water, I sit it out on the counter and I let that sit there for about an hour to an hour and a half. Then, while that's doing, we take over to the nice little terrarium thing here, which has a fogger, which gives some nice mist. I need to clean out some dead foliage in there. Then we are back to taking the plants out of the bowl so that way the plants can drain. I like to drain them upside down so that way there is no water that goes into the center of the plant. Put the bowl into the dishwasher because, of course, you need to take care of all of these things. Then once these things have drained, I drain them for about an hour. I put them back. And they go back into their little containers, and I think that looks really, really cool. I love the look. So let's talk the terrariums. I got Appalachian Emporium's moss, and I let it soak for a couple days just in regular water, so that way it'd be at least slightly damp. Then I just used scissors and placed the moss in places where I had killed the moss that was originally there. Yes, I did. I overwatered the moss. I know I'm not going to do that now. I know what I did wrong. And if you're asking what kind of moss this is, I'm not 100% certain because when I bought the moss, they didn't give you really good descriptions of what the moss is, and I've been looking it up, trying to figure it out. But I did mist both sides of the moss so that way the underside is also wet when I put it into the container, and the ground or the soil is actually wet or damp when I put the moss in, so that way we don't have to worry about this. But then this becomes a really easy thing. Do I need to have used the scissors to cut that? No, realistically you could pull it apart, but I sort of wanted a cleaner look for this, and it was really easy to just get this into place and place it around the plants that need it to be taken care of. And it's a really easy thing to do. Anybody can do this. Then once you have one done, then I went on and took care of the rest of the plants.
I want to be daring, baby, dance the night away. I let my head down if I won. Don't you just get tired chasing fame and being pretty all the time? Doesn't sound like fun. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better, so much better. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I want to be silly, baby, dance the night away. I'll kick my shoes off if I want. Let yourself be free and maybe you will find that there is more to life than being pretty. Honey, let's just face it. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better, so much better. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better.
So fixing some of the terrariums was pretty darn easy, because all I did was realistically put the new moss over top of them. Now, the one thing I do not like about the moss that I ordered was that it doesn't exactly give you a breakdown of the moss and lichen, I think, that comes with it. I did see the soldier moss, which is the red moss, which is in the new terrarium that I just got. But other than that, the mosses are different. But then we go into what I do with the things every Monday. And the big thing is watering. Watering is a huge issue. And watering was where I made my mistake with the terrariums, because I was trying to water them every day instead of paying attention. Well, not every day, but every Monday. Instead of paying attention to how much water there is. Some of the terrariums have not been watered in months, simply because they have enough water in there. You need to keep an eye on that. Once you get that down and you're like, oh, okay, this is cool, I can do that. So let's get into the watering and rotating of the plants. That becomes an issue. One of the other things which is really cool about the setup that I have is most of my lights are on, my grow lights are on a system, well, it depends. The ones on the shelves, they come on by their own accord. Well, I mean, like there's this thing which it's just your normal switch. It has a timer which can do 8, 12, or 16 hours worth of light. Since most of my plants are in front of or near a big window, they're usually only on for 8. The one that's in the farthest in the office, that's in the furthest away and does not get that much light, that is on for 12 hours. The other lights, which I really like, which are just above the window, those are on a split shift. They come on so that there will be a total of 16 hours worth of sunlight, but during the middle of the day when it's nice and bright in there, they turn off. I have it scheduled so that they turn off and I'm not wasting the electricity with those lights there. Now, I do feed my plants. Right now I'm doing about once a month versus once a week. And I'm just using Miracle-Gro plant food, but it wasn't time to feed them, so there's that. I have not done the outdoor plants. I almost did. I almost bought a whole bunch of outdoor plants this weekend. However, tonight we have a freeze warning. Yes, you heard that right. A freeze warning. It is going to freeze outside. And I do realize that for our area, the last frost date is like the 1st of May. So I have a little ways to go. But yeah, taking care of my plants is just something that makes me very happy. And there are so many different things which help make this easy. From the watering systems that you saw to little containers, which you've also seen, which then just hold water, and then the terracotta leaches the water out into the plant as it needs it. But I still need to keep an eye on these. I try to do them about once a day. That doesn't always work. But I try to keep an eye on them at least once a day to see what's happening. The grasses which you saw me pot up before, I have a new grass which you've seen, the new wheatgrass, the new I think this is cat grass. Those are in there, but it just depends upon how it works. Now I am battling fungus gnats, and I did find that the best thing for fungus gnats is neem oil. So I do try to spray those once a week. Now I found for me, when I spray the neem oil, I do like to leave for about an hour after I sprayed the neem oil, so that way I don't have that neem oil smell. Then the other thing, which is really funny, are my air plants. Now, my air plants, when just a few weeks ago I was talking to a friend of mine, and she and I were talking about air plants and how, they have a tendency to look fake and how they seem to never grow. And guess what? My air plants are growing. I think that was so funny because even I was just like, I don't think these things are growing. But I used to be able to put them into a mason jar and fill up the mason jar with water and let them soak. I let them soak for about an hour. Then I turned them upside down and let them drain, like I said, for about an hour, and then put them back. But now they're growing, so I have to put them into a bowl so they can soak that up. And a lot of this also, the reason I have so many plants and the way I have them set up is because I basically face southeast/southwest. So that way my plants get a lot of sunlight, and I mean a lot of sunlight, except for recently when we've just had nothing but rain. But with the grow lights on them and everything, the plants do really well. and they make me really happy. Like I said, this was never supposed to be a tutorial. This is just running you through what I do to get my plants to grow. And I need to, the big thing is I need to divide out my aloe, but I need to be able to do that on a big, huge table, and it's going to have to be warm, and we're not there yet. I was hoping that we would get there this week, and I was hoping to be able to divide that up, but guess what? We didn't. It rained. It rained since last Monday. So yeah, that didn't happen. But you will get to see that when I divide up that big, huge aloe. It'll be a lot of fun. But these are my plants. I love them. I love taking care of them. I love the terrariums. I just like the feel of having houseplants. Now, you will notice that some of my plants in my house are not real. They're fake. In fact, those there, up there on that hutch, they're fake because I want the greenery. I want the look. Will I try to find plants that I can actually grow? Yeah. If I can find plants that can do really well in my shaded area, like back there, which gets almost no sunlight, or I can find really nice grow lights that I can put back there, I'll do that. But until then, it's okay to have fake plants. Don't let people do the whole, oh, it's so gross, you have fake plants. Ah! It's just like, oh, get over yourself. No. If you want to have fake plants, that's great. You do you. You don't worry about other people's opinions of your plants. Just do you. But like I said, this is how I take care of my plants, but I'd love to hear how you take care of your plants. What things should I be doing? What things should I be taking care of? What things should I be looking for? Because while some of my plants are doing really well, like the pothos in my bedroom and the pothos in my office, others of the plants need some help. And then you have plants like in my office, the Christmas cactus, which might be a Thanksgiving cactus, who knows. That is now, I'm looking at it, or if you're wondering what I'm looking at, I'm going to say that thing's probably 14 years old. Yeah, 14 years old. Seems to be doing really, really well. And the snake plant back there, the terrarium. So yeah, I really like these things. They make me happy, and this is what I do. It's simple, it's easy, you can do this too. But let me know down in the comments how you take care of your plants. What things should I be taking a look at? Are there apps that I need to know about taking care of plants? Because I'm fairly new to this really taking care of houseplants. Let me know down in the comments. At this time, I'd like to thank these wonderful people who are part of my Patreon family and part of the channel members who listen to me talk about the plants and how much I love my plants. If you want to become part of the channel members or part of the Patreon family, you can go ahead and subscribe to that. It helps make these videos even bigger, and then you can see the other big projects that I have coming up, because the next project coming up actually deals with this project too, which is the automations that I have. And like I said, part of the automations that I have are my lights, which I'll explain more, and then the watering system, which I'll explain a little bit more in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope I get to see you again the next time you stop by.